Our new chapter gives us lots of ways that we can review the functions that we learned earlier this year. And we might do a little bit of trig, but we're kind of on to the more algebra stuff. There's also some really interesting problems you can solve using systems of equations. So to start with, we're just going to review what you already know from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And the first method that you learned probably was solving systems by graphing. And I feel okay that we could graph a line by hand, so I'm okay also just doing it on the calculator. Except if you're going to graph on the calculator, you have to solve for y. Unless you have a better calculator than me. So I'm dividing by -6. And I could reduce that, or I can just type that in, whatever. Solving this other equation for y, a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to go to the calculator to actually graph those. And so I've got them entered in as y1 and y2. When they graph, they look like this. We could have done that by hand. The nice part about having it on the calculator is we can use the calculate command. It's under second trace, under the calculate menu. What we're going to do is we're going to find the intersection. And so it's going to ask me where's the first curve I want to be on. I'm on the blue curve right now. So that's y1. I'm going to push enter. Now it asks me for my second curve. I'm blinking on the red curve, which is y2. I'm going to push enter. Now it's up to you, but if you want to take a guess at it, you can just move your cursor close to where you think that intersection is and hit enter. And there's our intersection. And what we just found was out of the infinitely many points that are on this line, and the infinitely many points on this line, there's exactly one point that is a solution to both equations, and it's the point x equals -1 and y equals 2. And we could always go back and plug those back in, and it should work in both of those equations. The one thing that's new this year is I don't think you've ever solved a system of equations that wasn't just lines. And so, can anyone tell me, just say it out loud if you know, what does this graph look like when we graph it? Did you say circle? Excellent. Still, if we want to graph this in our calculator, we're going to have to solve for y. So 9 minus x squared, we'll have to take a square root. But don't forget that you have to do plus or minus when you square root both sides. Luckily, this one's already solved for y. But to type that in, you're going to have to enter the circle as two separate equations. The square root of 9 minus x squared, and we'll make y2 the negative square root of 9 minus x squared. What's going to happen is this y1 is going to graph the top half of the circle, and y2 will graph the negative half of the circle, and altogether it'll look like a circle. And then for y3, I'll just enter my natural log of x. Do y'all remember what natural log of x looks like? Turn to each other and draw it in the air. Are you drawing it in the air? Natural log. Did you just draw something that looks like this? Lovely. So let's go to the calculator. So here I have those all entered in. When you look at the graph, the circle doesn't look very convincing. Sorry, now you can see what I'm talking about. It doesn't really look like a circle, but if you go zoom and square, number 5, then it'll just make sure all those tick marks on the x and on the y are evenly spaced, and then it looks much more like a circle. There's our natural log curve. This one kind of bothers me because on my calculator, this natural log curve, it should be going down to -infinity with that asymptote, but it kind of just stops right there because of the resolution. I could zoom in, but I know it's a natural log curve. I know it's going to hit that red part somewhere. So I'm just going to find, it looks like we have one intersection on the blue part of the circle, and one intersection on the red part that doesn't really show up. So again, the steps are second calc, intersect, and then it looks like I'm on the blue first curve, so I'll push enter. Now I wouldn't want to intersect the bottom of the circle with the top of the circle. That's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to push my up and down buttons. That's what lets me switch between curves. And now it looks like I'm on the natural log curve, yeah? But if I go to the left, you'll see that there is no y value there. And that's because natural log only works for positive x values. So you have to make sure that you're on a legit part of the curve. So there I can see my cursor again. Just keep track of those little x and y down there. So now I'm on the green curve, I can push enter, and I'm going for this intersection right about here, so I'll guess right about there. And there's my first solution to that system of equations. Let's find that other one, the one that's like sort of invisible right now. Let's see if the calculator can find it. So what first curve? Should we go with the red one as our first curve? So I'm on the bottom half of the circle, enter. Now I'm on the green natural log, enter. And now for the guess. I'm going to move my cursor down there. Not so far that it disappears though, but I guess that's as far as it goes. And I'll push enter and see how the calculator handles it. And she found it. She found our intersection. So we've got these in different colors now, but these are the two solutions that we just found. That first one we found was at 2.816, 1.035. And this other one that the circle and the natural log had in common, it was like really close to that asymptote, very close to 0.050 if you round it to 3. And like practically at -3 up to 3 decimals. So we actually had 2 solutions to that system. There could be more, it just all depends on the shape of your curves, right? Now the other methods, do y'all remember substitution? Substitution is where you solve one of the equations, usually for y, and then plug it into the other equation. Although, it almost looks like this one would be easy to solve for x. And once we solve for x, then we're going to take what x is equal to, inject it into the other equation, that's the substitution. Is this coming back to you? I was hoping this would be not too hard. The great part about substitution is now I'm only dealing with one variable, yeah? Here comes the hard math. -30 divided by -14, 1.5, y equals 1.5. So wherever those two lines meet, could you tell they were lines? They just have regular x's and y's, no squares, no funny things. So wherever they meet, the y value is 1.5. How do we find the x value? We're just going to go substitute this back in. I think I might actually plug it back into my little solved guy. So if I do x equals 10, it doesn't matter which equation you plug it into. Any of them will work. So what's that? 3, 4. So we've got 10 minus 6 would be 4, yeah? X equals 4. And so the only point where those two intersect is at the point 4, 1.5. Like I said, today we're going a little step further and we're not just doing lines. We see that, do you know what this one's going to graph? Everybody say it out loud. A parabola because of the x squared. And this one is just a regular line because it just has a plain x and a plain y. So then you have to decide, what do you want to solve for? I think I'm going to solve for this y. So I'd have a negative y. Divide that negative out of there. And now for the substitution. So I'm going to take this, and this time I'm going to substitute it into the other, always the other equation for y. And I've got x squared plus 4x. Use parentheses. That's a good idea, especially when that minus sign is there, because that's going to distribute. Are you with me? This is looking like a quadratic, isn't it? Let's start combining some stuff. And since it's quadratic, I really want to get this equal to 0. I'm going to subtract the 7 over, what's that, a -8? I think I can factor that. If not, I could have gone quadratic formula. 0 product property. I've got -4 for one possibility and 2 for another possibility. That tells me that, well, when you think about it, if you have a parabola and a line, I don't know that that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like maybe there's 2 spots where they intersect, yeah? So I've got -4 comma something and 2 comma something, And to find the somethings, I'm just going to plug those back in. So again, it doesn't matter which equation. I like to go with this one on substitution. So y is 1 plus 2x. There's one of them. What's that? 1 plus 2x. I get that right? So the negative 4 pairs with negative 7, and the 2 pairs with 5, and those are the 2 points where the parabola and the line agree out of the infinitely many points. And then the last method that you learned back in the day was the elimination method. It's called that because one of the variables eliminates. We sort of are going to add both sides of the equation, because if this equals this and this equals this, then the sum should be equal to the sum. But before we go there, we want to make it so strategically one of our variables will go away. Do you remember how to do that? If we multiply both sides of this equation by 3, so we're going to keep the top equation the same, and the bottom equation becomes this. Does anybody see why I chose the number 3? Because now when I add these equations together, the x's are eliminated. That wasn't the only way I could have done that, but it was a nice way. And we've got 68. You see, so we're down to one variable again. And then we're going to divide, and 68 divided by 17. Is that 4? Yeah, it's got to be 4. Alright, so again, this is a line and a line, so I was kind of just expecting just the one y value to go with one x value. Again, doesn't matter where you plug that back in. I might go with the second equation. So negative x plus 5 times 4 equals 17. Negative x equals negative 3. I'm getting x equals 3. And if you're ever in doubt, just go plug those back in to both equations, to either equation, and it should work in both. Alright. Now this one's just kind of ishy looking. I'm tempted to graph it because I don't know what these look like, so I want to use my calculator, but I don't need to. Do you see how it's really set up nicely for an elimination method? One of my options, I could multiply that by negative 2. So the top one is negative 2 x plus 2y squared, negative 10. And here's my second equation unchanged. When I add them together, there go the x's. Here I've got 5y squared equals 0. It's a little weird. Divide by 5, I get 0. Take the square root, I get plus or minus 0. And so I'm pretty sure that 0 is my y value. Again, I don't really know what these curves look like because it almost would be square roots of logs, so I'm just going to go plug it back in and see what happens. So let's take the top one, and I'm going to plug a 0 in for y. Okay, the 0 gets squared, so I've got log x minus nothing equals 5. And if you remember how the swoop goes, this is a base 10. So 10 to the 5 equals x. 10 to the 5 equals x. I wrote that wrong. 10 to the 5 equals x. And so I guess our x value is 10 to the 5th. I would have never found that on the calculator anyway. So I'm glad I used this algebraic method.